what do you see maybe that's a little bit unexpected happening at either Saturday Night Main Event or Evolution 2?
The thing that I really want, first off, can we talk about Evolution for a second?
Yeah.
Like, what is going on there? The tickets aren't selling. They have events, I guess, a venue Beyonce concert going on across
Yeah,
the street.
that's
Like, what are
accurate.
they doing? What's going on, man?
Yeah, so a little peek behind the curtain. I haven't even talked to you about this today. So first and foremost, I know that Beyonce is there because my wife is going to Beyonce on Friday night. So I'm very well aware of that, and I'm pretty sure she's there. I think it's Friday, Saturday, and it skips Sunday, which is or maybe it skips Saturday. Either way, right? Beyonce is in town. The kind of the premier show. She's over there at Mercedes, which is the football stadium.
Right.
So I have tickets to both Saturday Night Main Event and Evolution, and I got an email literally just today that says my tickets have been upgraded and that WWE is closing down my section where I bought my tickets and I'm getting moved, but just for Evolution, not Saturday Night Main Event. So I don't know if
Interesting.
that's more tickets are sold and they're building a bigger set, or less tickets have sold and they're closing that section down.
Yeah. I think it was poor planning for something that only happens once of a year. Such a big event for women's wrestling. And I don't know how WWE TKO lets this one the ball kind of mess up here, but it's kind of crazy to think that they wouldn't have seen this coming earlier.
Yeah, so I mean, the card's a little wonky, right? Like to your point, we just had Night of Champions, and then we're already staring down this particular show, and in the midst of that, we were not able to get like all the appropriate build that you would want for a show that hasn't happened in like the last 5, 6, 7 years. We just saw last night on Monday Night Raw that Asuka and Kairi Sane are back together as a tag team, and Adam Pearce basically just said, "Here you go. You're in this tag team title match," which I thought was odd. So that's like kind of how the build is working. And that might be why it's just not, feeling as big as it should feel heading into it.
Yeah. And I mean, the matches aren't bad. You got Stratus Stratton, you've got Ripley Sky. I mean, there's some big time matches here. Maybe a surprise. I could see maybe, Jordan Grace beating JC Jane for the title here. I don't know if that's a surprise, but it seems like this could be the move to make. Just kind of all you've invested in Grace. I think this would be a perfect moment for her, especially at the Evolution pay-per-view.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking wanting to show off the future of the main product, I think perfect place to do it and to feature Jordan Grace. So I'm right there with you on lockstep. I think that's almost one of my expectations over
Right.
the coming weekend is that Jordan Grace is going to be the new WWE NXT Women's Champion. I also think there's a possibility that, well, we'll save the Rumble a little bit maybe for reviewing it next week, but it's just that Rumble feels especially thrown together for Evolution specifically because Nikki Bella was supposed to have that match in theory with Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan gets hurt. They have that the Nikki Bella vignette or promo package, whatever you want to call it, last night, and it's basically just her entering that Rumble. And so I don't see Nikki Bella winning it. There's a lot of it just feels like they didn't know what to do with everybody else, so they just stuck him in the Rumble.
Yeah. And then what do you think about the Cargill Naomi? Do you think we get some Bianca maybe plays a part in this match, or is that something maybe they hold on down the road?
I could actually see Bianca being the one to come back and win the Rumble, to be honest with you. That's probably where I end up
Okay.
sticking with Bianca because you still have some you need some firepower, I think, for that Rumble to be
Right.
had. I think that's a good place as we're talking pro wrestling comebacks tonight. We haven't seen Bianca in a hot minute, and I think that's a good
Right.
place for her to come back. My other take on Evolution, and this is just in watching Monday Night Raw last night. I honestly, with the way that the card is for Saturday Night Main Event, I don't have a big upset prediction, spoiler, comeback, anything like that in that nature. It's all directed towards Evolution. But after watching the segment with Bailey, Lyra, and Becky Lynch last night, I think I think they're going to have to steer in a new direction with Lyra Valkyria right now. I don't think she's I think she's taken a step back in terms of in promos, specifically in promos. And I think
Yeah.
that was evident with Becky Lynch and Bayley both on the microphone. And you just see there's a gap in talent, right? So I think they have to figure out something to do. And there was a little bit of a mention from Becky when she said, "Hey, Lyra, you didn't bother to hesitate when I called for that match." So I know that Becky and Lyra had their feud and had their differences, and that this is a triple threat match. But my weird kind of off the wall prediction is that we get a Lyra Valkyria heel turn that helps Becky retain in that match.
Interesting. I mean, maybe it'll help her character. I mean, at this point, like you said, her promos are shit. So
I think it might help her get off. Yeah, I think it might help her get off the mic and just have Becky cut the promos and be there as kind of the wing woman to Becky while she has this Intercontinental title run. They'll have some explaining to do if that's the route they take, but I think they can get there, and I think they can protect Lyra in the process, and then hopefully she can kind of learn from Becky with these promos, take that pressure off, and then just perform in the ring.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Being, like we said, we saw how good she's done with Becky.
Yeah.
Why not somehow keep her involved and keep her growth? You know, it's a perfect idea. Saturday night's main event. Let's talk that for a minute.
Sure.
Do we think with the, little Easter eggs about Roman Reigns that this might be the night that he returns and sets up some kind of feud for SummerSlam, or is that premature, you think?
I don't think it's premature. I think I'm still trying to figure out how they are treating Saturday night's main event. And I think up until the last one, we had kind of said, look, it's just kind of a bit of a glorified house show that they're having and putting on to a different audience there with NBC, right? And so if they continue with the trend of the last one and making it feel a little bit more like destination TV, I can see that being a place for Roman Reigns because you have two top stars in there. How do you figure out a way to protect Seth Rollins, protect LA Knight? Neither of them really need to lose in this situation. Maybe it is a Roman Reigns comeback.
Yeah, just going to keep us guessing, make it more must-watch TV. That's what's fun. But yeah, what a great weekend you're going to have. You're going to be at both of these, Saturday and Sunday. There's going to be a lot to talk about next week on the podcast for sure.
Yeah, for sure. There is definitely going to be some sort of major storyline coming out of this. And I think, a lot of people probably expect Rhea Ripley with the way they were kind of going on with her last night to maybe be world champion again and finally beating Io Sky. It would be tough to think that Rhea is 0-7, 8, whatever it would be to Io Sky at that point. So, we'll see what happens with the Rumble and what else might get added. And that's basically the biggest reason why we're not doing a preview show for either of these is the card just isn't completely filled out for either of these, but we'll definitely talk about it more and see what we get out of it next week. So, all right, Matty, you want to talk some comebacks, buddy?
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Pro wrestling.